Hey, what's happening? This is John Paul Janitor. I got Jonathan Summers, Topher Homokin, one of them
What it
with me.
do? I'm here.
What
Believe
it
it.
do? What it doism. We are operating on level one of tech right now. I have two instances of Google Hangouts working so that I can stream through my phone. I
Because
yeah,
that totally makes sense.
we got some serious like 90 IQ small brain nibbitry going on here. Anyway, I want to talk about this thing that's been pissing me off lately. I call it Republican incrementalism. That's the idea. If we just keep electing Republicans, somehow we're going to fix this dumpster fire.
Lay it on me.
Okay, there's this theory out there that like Trump's really woke, brother, and he's going to help us save the planet because what we're going to do is we're going to elect other Trump Republicans, and we're actually going to get real Republicans because
Ah,
Trump's out there. And once we get real Republicans, we can really start seeing the change that we want to happen in the world. And if we only will elect enough of these real Republicans, they can eventually save the day. Now, not right away, because no one expects Republicans to save the day right away. But if we elect Republicans soon and then more later, somehow that will correct all of the fucking problems. So that's the Republican incrementalism myth.
I
That's
would
what they.
like I would like to pull back just a little bit. In a time not too long ago, if you are a crunchy libertarian still holding on to your nonsense beliefs, imagining in a world that any of these dumb ideas can possibly work, I'd like to take you back and help you remember that Ted Cruz was part of the Campaign for Liberty. Now, if you don't recall what the Campaign for Liberty was, that was Ron Paul's political movement. And Ted Cruz was part of the Campaign for
I'm with
Liberty.
you. I'm getting some box wine right now, though.
Ah, yes.
Continue.
He was part of the Campaign for Liberty, and he was also part of the AstroTurf crew that was part of the 913 or whatever, or the 1013 thing that Glenn Beck had going on. The Don't Step on Snack group.
Tread, motherfucker, tread. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm with you. I recall. This was
Yes.
about the Tea Party era, right? This
Yes,
was
this
the
is the
like
Tea Party area.
no true grassroots. Yeah.
And we had this whole wave of supposedly hyper libertarian candidates that were supposed to come in. And one of them was Ted Cruz. Whatever your feelings about Ted Cruz are, he's certainly not some kind of Republican radical.
He's
And who
certainly
else?
not the Zodiac killer.
Yeah. And who else was there? Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan was part of the AstroTurf crew of
No, is that where he came
World.
from? I
Yep.
totally forgot about that. That is
All
gross.
all of these people that the Republicans hate right now that are part of the New Guard, they're all that's what they come from. That was supposed to be the big change we were hoping for. And who'd we get out of it that was the most woke? Rand Paul. Oh great, you're part of the Freedom Caucus. And every once in a while you come out, look at this big stack of paper they're expecting us to read. They're gonna pass it anyways. I'll vote no. Principles are awesome.
Yeah, I'm on this. I'm on this new thing, man. It's super legit. It's called high statism individualist.
Ah,
I'm really woke on the whole individualist thing, where like I really don't want people like going on my lawn and telling me what to do, but I also want a high level of statism to come in and tell everybody else what to do. I'm on that tick right now.
yes. I support your right to free travel anywhere and tackle me and break my ribs. But I'm also going to call the state police to come help me. I got it.
But see, as long as we elect Rand Pauls and Paul Ryans and we keep
All these
getting these
people with two fucking
Republicans,
first names.
ah, it's
That's totally normal. God.
yeah, it's the Dick Army effect.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that's one of those things too with politics. You want to get into politics, you got to have one or two attributes to your name. Either you have two first names, or your name has multiple dick references.
It's big if true.
Dick Cheney, Dick Army,
Yeah, I
Paul
know.
Ryan, Rand Paul, Ron Paul.
Stop
Stop
pulling my
it!
leg, my guy. Yeah, no, I follow, but I just to get on this Republican incrementalism shit. Like, I don't know how many like faux alt-righters I've heard lately tell me about why it's important to vote in these midterm elections for Republicans because they're gonna like pick Supreme Court justices that rule against our fucking interest. Like you heard
Uh,
about the Gorsuch thing recently, right?
red pilled me on that.
Oh my god, dude, this fucking like the Trump Supreme Court justice
Yeah.
guy. He fucking he went back on the whole like is it constitutional to deport violent criminals? Yeah, he voted no.
Well,
Yeah.
so
So it went 5-4, and that means no, it's not constitutional to deport violent criminals because
see, you
according
have
in Gorsuch's opinion or whatever, like he wrote like further about it that like we can't actually define what a violent crime is, where it stops, where it starts. It's a really loose term in legalese, so it's not very useful in the fact that like people are trying to run around and just say like, oh, this is an excuse for ICE to do their fucking job. Like, god damn it, dude, I want fucking white people to Kia right now. I'm so fucking sick of these Republicans. Like, look at this shit. Like, this is a typical Republican incrementalist point where they all say we're going to get these guys in and they're going to overturn the entire fucking wheelbarrow at some point. They're literally building the fucking dirt mound that the thing's going to roll back down. I mean, what in the hell are they fucking talking about? They're not going to overturn anything. They never have and they never will. And in fact, they rule in favor of the status quo, even in the fucking the league, even in the courts. I mean, at the best claim you could make for like Republican justices is that they play fair. That's literally the best claim you can make.
yes, because once
Yeah.
I'm in power, that's really what I want for my ideology. Once it's in power, I want it to play fair. Sure.
So somehow, if we just play fair and we elect these guys to play fair, that's going to fix everything.
No, I want the Pizzagate photos for all the Democrats. Why aren't they wheeling those out?
Burn it down. Burn it down. God damn it.
It's like you should be out there every time Bernie Sanders comes on TV and he starts talking about any of his policies. You need to be like, oh yeah, you drive around a red sports car and have 6 homes.
It's like Joe Biden. I take a train to work every day. You know, I'm a regular American, a red-blooded regular American.
Oh yeah, it's like you're so regular and just pull up constantly. Like if all these you go on these pundit shows, you should show these Republicans. They should show up with just a creepy looking picture of Joe Biden and say, "Look at this. This is the people you want to vote for."
Yeah,
look at
this is fucking hoverhand McGee, and I'm not gonna play fair. This whole fucking fairness thing, right? Like I think that's like a central tenet of like normie republicanism, which is so bad and dangerous right now for forever. It's a terrible fucking notion. Just the notion that like, because okay, here's something that's bizarre to me. Everybody that's not a total like lefty always says, oh, the left is so hypocritic. It only plays by one set of rules for itself and another set of rules by everybody else. They're such hypocrites. All they do is they turn the rules upside down just to get their fucking way. Well, you know what? You know what's worse than that? What's worse than that is somebody who plays by the fucking rules to the point of fucking self-harm. The Republicans self-harm themselves on every fucking edge they see. They literally keep walking into the same fucking corner, and they won't just fucking get the corner out of the way. It's insane, dude.
I see that your ideology has a lot of holes in it. Let me cripple myself so we're about on the same page, and I can't do certain things as a retort. Jesus Christ! I ran across this just today, and let's use this in the sense of just everyday folk, because this
Yeah.
permeates down from the
No,
top
it
level
totally
down to
does.
dumb people,
Yes.
on Twitter. And I seen some guy on some fucking leaf on Twitter posting one of that gender unicorn poster where it has like all the like gender components separated out, and like you're supposed to move a little slider to figure out what kind of homo you are. And anyways, I was like, you should go make a big stink about that. There is in his local library. And I'm like, you should go make a stink about that. He's like, I don't stoop to the same level that they do.
I have ethics and principles, and my ethics and principles make me give other people the benefit of the doubt to the point
You
that
you know
they're literally like robbing from me.
you know where ethics and principles get you? You get a demon tranny reading to kids at a library. That's what you get.
And then the biggest thing you can do is say, I don't think that's appropriate. That is the ethic. That's the ethic of the fucking Republican Party. I don't think that's appropriate. They can't even say that's wrong and evil and we can't do that. They can't even do that. It's pathetic.
Well, so you want to point to that, like, so not even being able to hold up to their own principles while still talking a big game. So one of
Okay.
the big things was while the Republicans were not in power, one of their big things was, oh, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood. And sure enough, we have had almost a whole year of them having every option and every ability to do some kind of incremental destruction to Planned Parenthood. Do we hear even one peep?
Oh, dude,
No.
they can't even tear down the fucking what is it? The Obamacare thing. They can't even tear down the Affordable Care Act. That's how pathetic they are. And somehow we're going to elect enough Republicans where it's just going to be this critical red wave, and it's going to sweep away all the ills of society wrought by the evil cultural Marxist Democrats. Oh my God.
And sure enough, and so here's the pushback to all of this nonsense. So you'll be like, well, there's not enough actual Republicans in there. They're all rhinos. Like
none of them are really Scotsmen. I know. Tell me more about that.
We have no true Scotsman Republicans, and so people like Lindsey Graham and John McCain. It's like, no, when Lindsey Graham or John McCain comes out and counter signals against the president, every single person that has the most slightest amount of clout in there should go on every single pundit show and call him a dumb old fart, and his cancer brain is affecting current politics, and he needs out now.
There's something like, I don't know what the psychological term is. I'm a dumb person, but like these Republicans are fucking tools, man. There's no other way to put it. Like, they're literally like a tool for whatever, the society at large, right? The great society that we all live in. Like, this shit is not going to get fixed with Republicans.
Yeah, they're all part of the global homo gayplex, just the same as the Democrats are.
What are they going to do, man? Like, I just don't, like, there's so many examples of them not fixing shit. Like, I'm sorry, when you take away bump stocks and you have Republicans everywhere, you failed. You lose. That's game over, man. It's already over.
That is a good point, because if you want to talk about incrementalism in any particular direction, a ban on bump stocks, here's the thing with the Republicans and the NRA. That is their one position they don't cede any ground on.
That's the claim, but shit. That's all they've done. You think about like the mental health thing, where like they all just acquiesce like constantly. Like that's a $2 word that like they seem to.
We need to have better mental health screening. You people don't even know what that means. Mental health screening, literally anything can be pathologized. Do you want one of your weird idiosyncrasies turned into a pathology that can keep you from buying a gun? And if you're unfit to buy a gun because of some kind of weird little personality quirk you have, who knows what other sector of society can you be left out of?
You want to talk about like principles to a fault. I'm so principled. I won't even do anything to help myself. I mean, that's the game right there.
So,
Like
so
they're the
let me ask.
Republican. That's the game for the Republican candidates. Is they march out and say, "I'm so principled and such a good Christian, I'm not going to fight, and I'm not going to fight for you because I believe in you." Like I don't even get it, dude. Like where does this shit come from? Like, and see the thing is, it's not only fucking normies. It's even people out there on the wilds on the internet. You know, they're saying like, "Okay, this is great. We're going to MAGA Pete our way to victory here, guys. Trump is going to get in there, and he's going to give us Supreme Court justices, and he's going to give us ICE. And when people fight against us, it's not going to work because we're going to have so many Republicans, they're just going to support us."
No, let me stop
crazy?
you. No, let me stop you there. See, because all these people, they've got it figured out. See, because Trump's working on extra dimensional, hungry hippos, and right now, what he's doing is he's doing the exact same thing Hillary wanted to do to Syria, and that means we've totally got Israel cornered.
Israel's really cornered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Why? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like at what point? At what point is like? I don't even know, dude. It's like he just turned around as soon as he got elected and said, "Gotcha, bitch."
Well, you know, this was one of those things with Trump where all of his supporters knew kind of his wild card nonsense, where it was like you can't really take anything to heart, and it's like you have to be kind of aware of that. But it wasn't supposed to be at this level.
It wasn't supposed to be that Trump was a Republican. Like literally, that's why people picked him, because he wasn't really a Republican.
Yes, you're supposed to go out there and call Lindsey Graham a weird homo, and then tell him you better pass my budget cuts that basically strip out all the unnecessary fat of the government. And then Rand Paul's supposed to go out there, yeah, everything's great, Freedom Caucus, we got our way.
I just don't get, where do these goddamn Republican pundits get off? Where do these assholes get off? Like they come out there and they're like, you know, both fucking Nerf guns firing. Like, okay, guys, Ann Coulter's a little bit extreme for my taste, but you know, she's at least willing to call Democrats hypocrites. What is that? Like, that's not even a fucking stand. That's not even an opinion. That's fucking. It's useless. The Republican pundits are so fucking useless. Like they don't even get people wound up about anything. They just go out there and they make this 28 double D fucking like checkers game that fucking Trump is somehow the wizard of. Like, what are they even doing?
Nothing. Joke, and you want to point to who's more effective at propaganda nonsense. It's clear, you have to be aware that what your side is doing, and especially what the pundits that represent your side are doing, some level of propaganda. Now, during the Obama years, Fox News, the best they could do as an assault to Obama was that he wasn't a citizen and he might be a Muslim. Within the first year of Trump's presidency, they almost have him bent over a barrel with his son and his daughter being tied to, business cartels,
business jewelry,
Israel. Yeah. He is a secret Russian agent and he's a moral degenerate. And not just by speculation, by serious government investigation. That's what the left's media machine has been able to do. And don't tell me that Fox News and various groups didn't have a similar level of power during the Obama era.
Oh, they could have. They never used it.
They never used it effectively. Right? The only
version of political incrementalism that we actually have is fucking Democrat incrementalism. They win everything. They always win. And sometimes they win faster and sometimes they win slowly. Like that's there's no fucking exaggeration there. That is exactly what happens, and it happens under a goddamn Republican supermajority.
Yep, and with the RNC having tons and tons of money. Now, in
And
these
support.
special elections,
They have all the support in the world. They have all this. They have a fucking mandate to go out there and kick ass and take names, and they will have fanboys for life. They won't even take advantage of it, dude. Like I don't understand this fucking myth, this bullshit that people keep coming at me with of like, oh well, yeah, we got Trump now, but in another 12 years, we're gonna have somebody that's slightly more extreme than Trump, and what he's going to do is he is going to give all of our guns to Israel, and that's the turning point right there.
Third term. That's when they start building the gas chambers. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, dude, that's the best, dude. The best is to see like the far righters, the actual fascists and stuff like that, like supporting him. That is the best. It's like no, Trump is actually going to stand up to the Jewish money game, and he's really going to do something. No, he's not. He's done the opposite. Like there's every indicator that he's failed at that game. Even the Pizzagate thing, right? You know how fucking like excited everybody was that Trump was gonna lay down the law and like send the FBI into all these like horrible like child trafficking rings and everything.
Yep.
And I got excited about it too because he did. He did arrest a couple people. He's
constantly signing some kind of bill that stops sex trafficking. In fact, he just closed down the system that runs the Backpage website. And if you're not familiar with Backpage, it's basically like a porno hookup.
Weren't there 2 or 3 Democrat politicians that were part of that?
I'm not particularly for sure, but I used to know a black dude that would always be like, "Yo, John, you need to go on this thing. It's pretty awesome." I'm like, "Nah, bud, got other plans for the weekend." He's like, "Well, I need a lift, man. We could split it down the middle, tag team them." No,
goddamn. But that's these goddamn Republican voters. They fucking kill me every time.
So tell me by your perception, what's worse, a lying politician or a Republican voter that's too dumb to realize what he's going to get in the end?
Oh, it's a Republican voter. There's this thing, right? That there's this assumption that politicians are crooked, right?
Yeah.
I would say that the left is very comfortable with this idea, in so much as that as long as the taqiyya that the politicians are practicing is for their own good, for their benefit, they are totally okay with that. Explicitly at some points.
So what we're advocating.
How many of these Hillary things have Democrats actually said, well, of course, but they're still on board with it, like literally still on board with her, admitting like she's part of whatever the claim was.
The
Republicans won't even entertain this notion. The Republicans won't even entertain the notion that their candidates are somehow corrupt or crooked, and like especially anybody that panders to blacks on the Democrat side. Like most of them are explicitly fucking crooked. Like I can't even think off the top of my head. Like Waters, oh my god, dude! Like the shit with Waters, like holy shit, dude! Yep. Like these people are literally lying and cheating and stealing, and they don't even have to do it under the fucking cover of like good lawyers or anything. They just do it.
Or Debbie Wasserman Schultz with basically hiring sand people to steal secret government documents and then hides. And what was she doing? She was basically blackmailing the
media, the damn news.
The media and the district attorney of where all this was going down. Oddly enough, you know what her district was?
No.
It was in the Parkland area.
Oh no. Of course.
Of course.
Very Jewish. That's the problem, dude.
No, but okay, so let's do a basic measurement here.
I
It's just a
am
basic
stone cold
measurement.
Steve Austin on this. Like, those people that don't admit that their politicians are dishonest, they are way worse than the people that play tequila.
Well, that was the hope with Trump, right? Is that
Hold on a
okay?
sec. I'm
Fine.
getting some wine out of my box. Go
Okay, you
ahead.
get some wine. You tell me if the boxed wine god approves of this. That the Trump vote for a lot of Trump voters was we were basically electing their type of monster, and he was going to come in and basically eat up all of the peasants the same way, right? My off
Totally
base here.
correct. Getting box wine.
God damn it.
My wife puts it in the fridge for some reason. Sorry about that. No, yeah, you're totally right. There's this like this silly game that we played, right? We totally played, and we were like, oh yeah, we finally got a dirty dog, and he's our guy, and that's what it's gonna take. And like as soon as he got elected, everyone's like, oh no, we want the Paul Ryans to stick around. We have to elect Paul Ryan because he's gonna help us. Dude, he never fucking has. They've done the opposite. And then what's worse is fucking Trump has done the opposite. This is crazy.
Yep.
This shit is crazy.
Yeah. And if we're talking about the comparison of the two monsters of either side, Hillary and Trump, if we were to assume that all of the speculation and all of the conspiracy between each person is true, who is still worse, Hillary or Trump?
I think the one with the body count is probably still worse. I don't know. Maybe that's me.
Like she's responsible for destabilizing Libya, right?
Oh yeah.
Like most of the Syrian conflict is basically on her hands.
Oh yeah. There's no question there.
The funding of these various rebel factions that we're all trying to pretend are not Al Qaeda, and then Trump comes in and doesn't understand that basically all the rebels we're funding are Al Qaeda is her fault.
But Trump funded a fraudulent school, and then he lied about it.
Oh man,
what a complete monster! Trump, he lied on his taxes. This guy is a total monster. We've never seen the lack of the lack of ethics in a political candidate before. What are you fucking talking about? Like, where do you even get off? We've never seen an unethical fucking politician before. Do these people, are they not familiar with like Chuck Schumer and his fucking his property deals? Are they not familiar with fucking like Biden's mouth? Like literally the gaffes that Biden has made, like they outshine anything Trump's done. And this goes to show you like the quality of the left that I think is really, really something that we should aspire to emulate in some way.
Yep.
The left is willing to actually prop up Biden as a potential as a presidential candidate
with
on the basis that he has some kind of virtue or he has some kind of quality that is likable. This fucking asshole is the original Donald Trump in politics. Biden has said everything under the sun.
Yep.
Biden has defamed blacks. He said bad things about women. He said terrible things about all kinds of minorities. He has been suspect of all kinds of bizarre, like touching and dealing with people's children in public. And this is the guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's not leftist enough to generate the national support necessary to take the presidential candidacy. And that's something that we're kind of disappointed with about Democrat voters. What the fuck, dude?
Well, see, they're constantly trying to evolve their terrible candidate that they push forward. Like literally in the next election, they're going to put out a white genocide candidate as a front runner, and no one's going to blink an eye.
No, the fact that you have a problem with white genocide, like that's something I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with. Don't you understand? White people actually deserve to be replaced and removed. Like these are fucking talking points, dude.
Over. These are evil.
These are talking points of the left, and the right can't even stand up to them. The right just stands up and says, "We're all humans, guys. There's only one race, and that's the human race." Like, they can't even stand up and say, "What you said right there, that's not okay. You're a bad guy." They can't even say that shit. And then we got like, oh, dude, the leftist pundits. To me, that's why I watch leftist pundits. I find them way more entertaining.
And you're a sadomasochist of some sort.
Yeah, and I like to suffer too. But like that's why I check out Sam Cedar all the time, because it's painful as shit to listen to these people talk. I'm like, they're seriously concerned that somehow the Koch brothers are going to be able to like swing another election. And they're behind the scenes rigging things. It's like, so what if they are? You're still getting your way when they fucking get their candidate elected. Like, I don't even understand. Like, where do these people even fucking get off?
So, talking about leftist thought leaders, a perfect case study is Sam Harris. You look at Sam Harris.
Oh, yeah.
And he put during the Trump election, he put his lot in with the left and has taken a huge left-wing turn and stopped a lot of his really nasty hate rhetoric and hate facts that he used to do under the guise of rationalism. And sure enough, what have these people slowly done to their atheist darling? They have been eating him alive nonstop.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. The left fucking hates Harris now. It is what a fucking travesty, dude. He had so Charles Murray, right? He's the guy that wrote the Bell Curve. He's one of the guys. There's two guys actually. The other guy's Jewish. And in the Bell Curve, Murray writes about different groups, different race groups or whatever have different bell curves. They have different bell curves for intelligence. And he supports this study, these studies, and the proofs of this writing in this book. With study after study after study. I mean, this is something that has really been looked into, and it's one of the few things that we can actually know using psychology. Right, is one of the few things that we've actually like put the time and the effort into knowing. The left won't even fucking hear it.
Nope.
Like, never mind the fact that this doesn't matter. Like this subject, like, it literally doesn't matter for like politics at all. Other than to like garner support by fucking like trying to nag somebody who's done good science. And that's all they've done is they've just nagged him and said, like, you're a racist and you're a bigot.
Yes, because Harris goes out there and says, hey, look, a lot of Islamic terrorism comes from people who practice Islam. What a surprise. Well, that's clear, Sam Harris. You're a total Islamophobic bigot.
You're an alt-right fascist, Sam Harris.
Yeah. You're alt-right. Clearly. Clearly.
Oh yeah. No, that's actually one of the talking points of the leftist pundits is that Harris is feeding alt-right trolls.
Yep.
Every time he does one of these pieces, whether it's on IQ or it's on Muslims, like the leftist talking point is that Sam Harris is feeding the alt-right. That's how far the leftist pundits will go. No, there's no comparison on the right. There's none.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that I've been curious about with leftist talking points and some of these, like, quote-unquote right-wing thought leaders that they're assuming are the boogeymen. It's either one of a handful of things. Either they honestly believe that these people are the monsters they claim they are, they're being disingenuous, or it's a really clever assault on the right to label these like weird centrist as alt-right.
Like, no, because I follow what you're saying, man. I always default to fucking leftist taquilla. I mean, they will lie, cheat, and steal to get anything they want. I think it's pretty goddamn demonstrable. I think that, and I think to some degree it's a virtue of the left. And this like incessant Trotskyism of the left, where they're willing to like have a revolution for the sake of a revolution over any subject or topic, be it Muslims or like, weird demon transsexuals reading to children. There's no line.
Okay.
Yeah, anything's okay. And like it's crazy. It's crazy what they do to the right wing people. You're right, because what they do is they frame like essentially the most milquetoast leftist or even centrist, as though there's some sort of like extreme far right position. It's like, frankly, the Koch brothers, may themselves as well have been leftists. I mean, what are they propping up? They're propping up fucking corporatism. Yep. Which is, the highly nepotistic state enabled corporations. Well, guess what, lefties? That's actually a leftist thing. The mythology of the right is that they want this sort of like laissez-faire, like gun shooter, Old West style capitalism. No one's doing that. No, there's no advocate for that. Like the fucking the libertarian angle that the right seems to latch onto, like intellectually, and like all these arguments about economics and stuff. There's no representation of that in their politics.
Hold on, I gotta close up my copy of Ayn Rand. My heroin needle sticking out of my arm a little too much. Continue. No,
John Galt. Yeah.
No, so their pundits do a better job at propaganda. Yep. Their candidates are Teflon at a level that shouldn't even be fair. Like, okay, we'll assume that some of the plenty of these things are true with Trump, just for argument's sake.
Yeah, I think it was Maxine Waters who had the fucking letter from a bank about she was giving these like bizarre loans to illegal immigrants.
Yep.
And she got a bank to give out a whole bunch of these loans, right? And like in one of the letters to this banker that was working with her, she said like, yeah, and we don't want any of this information released to the public until after my reelection.
Yep.
And that shit came out, and guess what happened? Fucking nothing.
Nothing
at all.
But Trump, a billionaire, is sleeping with porn stars. I'm surprised how. Or care how.
And it's just sickening, dude, because like all these people on the right that like, at least these people that were willing to try and play the game again and actually vote and stuff, that step back in to say, well, hey, we finally have somebody that's willing to lie, cheat, and steal for us. Like, I'm sorry, dude. After the fact, we found out really, really soon that Trump was only willing to play the institution's game. At no point was he willing to step outside the bounds. I mean, I think that's become abundantly clear. Because, frankly, all he has to do is step on TV and make some sort of like a shithead statement about Maxine Waters. And there you go. He's changed the planet. He won't do it. Why not?
He could go out and tweet some kind of nonsense in a second and change global politics. He's affected the stock market in ways just by saying things like, oh, I think Amazon has bad business practices. And there are a lot of ways they do, and they do milk the system. They get paid. They get taxpayer funded assistance for every piece of every item they ship. And that's why, I don't know if you recall, there was a moment there where the post office was not doing deliveries on the weekends, and all of a sudden they're dropping off parcels on Sundays. You know who this is in part of? Amazon.
This is the thing. This is the thing right here. All of these proponents of this right-wing incrementalism, this idea that like as long as we keep electing Republicans, we're going to fix this dumpster fire. All of these people are still defending this shit. How the fuck are they still defending it? I don't even understand. Like, look, okay, I get it, dude. I like Trump too. I thought he was going to be some kind of outsider of some kind of quality. He's not. He has demonstratively failed across the board.
Well,
how is voting for another Republican going to save me?
I'm willing to believe some of this based on Trump's naivete of how Washington works. So that was part of the thing with the omnibus bill. And if you're unfamiliar with the omnibus bill, it was this giant spending package that kept the government running. And it was basically filled with all kinds of pork barrel nonsense.
Oh boy, I have a tale about this. A law enforcement guy I talked to at work sometimes was super excited after the omnibus bill because he realized it was going to allow Trump to put what is it? National, what are they called? National Guard on the border. And the effect of having National Guard at the border was going to be such that the beaners that crossed the border were actually going to shoot at the National Guard for whatever reason he thought, and the National Guard's response was going to be to shoot back. And that was actually the plan from Trump. That was why the omnibus bill was good. That was the justification for the omnibus bill. Like, no shit.
My dude, I got the 3-dimensional chess figured out on this one.
I should have just handed him a fucking mop, dude. Like, I don't even know what to say at that point. Oh, dude. And then you listen to the leftist pundits, and they're like, Trump passed the omnibus bill. This is what a bunch of wasteful spending. I can't believe a good Republican would spend this much money. Like, what the fuck do these people get off? Like, that's exactly what they fucking wanted.
Yes, because you know what the omnibus bill specifically prohibits? Building a wall. And then the 3D chess, the 3D chess was, oh, well, his big thing was his one component of concession that allowed him to have any weight on the omnibus was that there was a big portion of it that went to Pentagon spending, and somehow he has, through some kind of legal mechanism, he can take money from the Pentagon and use it on things he wants, blah, blah, blah.
With this one cool trick, Bernie Sanders can still win. I mean, Trump can still build a wall. It's the same fucking shit.
Oh, okay, you want to talk about incrementalism. So, Trump's going to put what is it? Agents on the border or National Guard on the border. And so they send 2,000 border guards down there. Now, if you forget, Obama did the same thing, but he sent 8,000. And you know what? Bush did the same thing, and he almost sent 10. And neither one of those presidents had to deal with crazy caravans of communist-led Mexicans trying to break over the wall.
Obama deported more than Bush. I'll never forget being at a wedding with my super yuppie lefty cousin that actually worked for Obama on his campaign, and telling him, all the reasons I supported Obama, which were like totally like, right-wing reasons, of course. And I was like, oh man, I love Obama, man. He has deported more Mexicans than Bush by a long, far and away. And that's great because I don't like any stinking Mexicans, and I know Obama's going to keep on deporting them. And my cousin was like, yeah, you should totally vote for Obama. That's great. But that is the absolute state that we are in right now. It's like we could get like a far like anti-white fucking white genocide leftist. And guess what? They're literally going to do things that we would consider right now to be right-wing Republican things. Because that is the quality of the right wing right now. They're so fucking ass blasted while having a super majority that they will attribute the most like anti-Republican, anti-conservative values ideas to being of some sort of like quality that they like. It's like, what are you people doing? You don't believe in anything. Like, you just hate your children. Like, I don't even know what to say. Do they just hate their fucking kids?
I have a prediction. So, you tell me if this is sound enough. And with our maverick president, and his ability to flip-flop on almost any issue, during the midterms, his final pull to pull away voters, these swing voters from the left, is he's going to make some kind of major federal move positively towards marijuana users.
That would be smart, and I'm starting to worry that he's not able to make smart political decisions.
Like how many?
I think what he needs to do right now is he needs to say blacks get free coffee at Starbucks.
Did you see the Hotep Jesus video, by the way?
No.
So this guy Hotep Jesus, he's like one of these like black nationalists, and he's like,
Is he
okay,
Yakub? Is he Yakub or Yakub?
he's I'm not sure, but he's definitely in the We Was Kings kind of community.
Okay. The blacks
But
is the real Jews or no?
I think so.
Okay,
But
that's
anyway,
the
yeah,
quality I'm after.
and he, he's super woke, so he's like super conservative. He hates Democrats. So he goes, you know what? All these leftist talking points. You know what I bet I could do right now after this big debacle at Starbucks? I could go in and say, "Give me a free coffee because I'm black." Goes in a Starbucks and says, "I want my reparations coffee." And you know what they do? They give him a coffee.
No.
Yep.
So jealous.
And then too. So, what is the left's response to this? This is how far they can go, and this is the level of taquilla that they're working at. Woke black guy, like black nationalist, goes out and points out their nonsense. People like Jared Holt come out and call him a white supremacist.
Oh man. Oh man. White Sharia was only a dream.
Now, in fairness to those left wing propagandists, he was going on the like alt right talking circuit more or less. He was on Red Ice.
Oh well, if he went on a right wing, far right, crazy conspiratorial, far right, extreme right, Alex Jones Infowar far right place, then yeah, he's a white supremacist.
Yep,
because the ADL.
from SPLC, and
yeah,
and if you haven't learned, all of you alt right or alt light or whatever kind of edgy conservative you are, get off Discord.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cancer.
I want to talk about incrementalism. We got all these edgy Republicans with anime profiles. Jesus Christ, these are the people that are supposed to lead the movement.
There is no movement. Like this is the thing that's funny, right? Everybody talks about how like, oh, the leftists, they have all these like anarchistic, like decentralized movements where these different people, you know, whether there's like the intellectual, like I only talk about economics because I'm some brand of like big brain communist, or even like I only talk about or being left wing because I hate, you know, having white students in my class. Like the right wing has nothing. Like they don't even have that. There's no fucking centralization. There's no movement. And it's funny
who
too.
Do we got?
This is funny too.
Do we got Tucker Carlson? We got one person on Fox News.
Oh boy, Tucker.
And then Tucker, once presented with a ethnic person making a race realist argument for their side, can't even hold up.
Oh man, I'll never forget how much he cucked out. Yeah.
Yep, against that black lawyer that lived in his neighborhood, and he kept trying to reframe it as a class issue.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's something pathological about the right. Always kowtowing and like reframing for the enemy. See, that the enemy, that is a term that the right will not use, and they won't use that.
Well, one of the things
to the right is not even a fucking enemy. It's their guy, it's their buddies that they have to convince of something. Like it's so fucked.
One of the things and this is where there's no unity on the right, is they don't have a centralized attack against the left. Because what is the left's centralized attack? Oh, you're a racist.
Yeah, you're a racist, you're a capitalist. Anything. They have so many things to rally around. Yeah.
The right can't even do that. Like Tucker can't even consistently have people come on and just call him a commie. Like the left can do that. Well, you're just a capitalist. Like even if that's a true thing, they use it as a derogatory term. Like the fact that any of the right wing pundits can't come out there and go, "Well, you're just a dumb commie."
Yeah,
Like
there's no the right is a myth, man. It doesn't exist. I'm
like
convinced.
the saddest thing is, as far as I could tell, the most principled person on the right is Christopher Cantwell. And God, what a sad example of a person that is.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because yeah, I have the same opinion. That's the only real principled right wing person I know. Like it's Cantwell.
Yeah, and then too. Okay, so we're talking about incrementalism and moving towards something. Oh, sure. Like the left gets so extreme, they're eating themselves. Oh, you know who seems to be eating themselves right now with their their goofball figures on the right. All of these blood sport people. Like, okay, Baked Alaska. We're gonna take down Baked Alaska because he said some mean things to his community and was possibly going to do some doxing.
Oh man.
That's so and like we're basically going now. Don't Baked Alaska is not a good thought leader of any sort for the right, but still, that's not the point.
That's the point of fucking Takia, man. That is why I think the left is more fucking virtuous than the right, dude. That's the point. That is the fucking point. Like Baked Alaska, as retarded as he is, way more. He could have been a fucking rallying point. Baked Alaska, he could have been a point where people said, "Okay, no, we're just going to support him." Period. End of story. That's how we win. But the right is like, there's the two sides of the right, I guess. There's like the cringy, goofy, fucking internet part of the right, which is not willing to like validate or get behind anything for any length of time. And then there's also the right of like the fucking normie who is literally willing to cuck endlessly.
Who was the politician saying that all of these edgy right wingers are people in their basement masturbating to Japanese anime?
Oh yeah, yep.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Whoever that old fart was at the time when he said that, the right wanted to insult that and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. The reality is the edgy right, that is a dead-on accurate description of what they are.
Anime land, that's it.
Man,
it's really funny too because like the idea that like civic nationalism is not a sufficient like point to rally around. That right there, that is the definition of why the right will lose. It will never win.
These are our voters. These are the people. It's like, oh, Antifa are all these druggy dropouts living in their mom's basement at 35. Oh, wait a minute. All these edgy right-wing people talking about Jews are 35-year-old incels smoking pot in their mom's basement.
All they have to do is talk about the podcast they listen to and why Black Alaska is not a sufficient bastion of right-wing thought to rally around. Like the opposite is absolutely true of the left. They will fucking rally around and win. They still get amped up over chunk yogurt. Like that's it. Like they'll get over fucking Young Turks. Like that is a sufficient rallying point for the left. Is the Young Turks.
Yep.
That's any objective fucking person would watch that and be like, yeah, this is a dumpster fire. This is trash. Well, guess what? This trash, people fucking like vote based on it. They fucking act based on it, and the politicians follow the shit too. People are mad because the politicians don't go as far.
Yeah, you could be principled. You could know that when you're doing bad stuff, that you know it's bad stuff. But at least these people, like, we're under the assumption that when the left does bad things and lies, they're not aware of it. Maybe they're not, but you could be totally principled and know that you're doing evil.
I want right-wing Takia. I don't even want right-wing. All I want is like some nationalism and some fascism. And I can't even have it. And I'm aware of the faults of fascism. I want them once we're in power. Yeah, you can't have it. You can't have it because the Paul Ryan's going to get out there. We're going to elect the Paul Ryan because through some fucking fluke and mystical power, somebody is willing to actually vote and support Paul Ryan. And you know what's going to happen is he's going to get elected and he's going to say, you know what? I agree with the left. This is something to vote against.
So,
fuck you, Donald Trump.
You
look,
know what?
Voters, look how principled I am.
And you want to talk about this too. So we know by nature politicians are supposed to be terrible. But by nature, people are not supposed to be gibbering retards with the IQ of a potato. These people, every single one of these voters that are out there hoping for some kind of right-wing wave, are doing zero level of activism while the left seems to got it all figured out. If you don't recall, the left almost got Laura Ingraham taken down for saying something mean about David Hogg and his future college prospects. And she even apologized.
Oh my God, she had to apologize?
She did something stupid. And you know what? Even cucks like Ben Shapiro's out there. Well, I didn't agree with what she said. Whatever. You know what? That is not the time. You called David Hogg a weird spider-armed weirdo, and you defend the people on our side now. In fact, where's the activism of the right? If something that stupid can be used as a lever point to wedge out a pundit on their propaganda machine, you're telling me that we couldn't sit there and watch 20 minutes of Rachel Maddow and get literally every single one of her sponsors taken down for her saying something totally out of line?
It's not going to happen. What's crazier too is all of these like capitalist corporations, these evil, fat piggy capitalists. What do? They fucking kowtow to the left, and then you get the fucking right wing people having to make this like absurdist argument of like, oh yeah, well, we ourselves we're real, we're really into independence and liberty and capitalism But yeah, I guess Chick-fil-A shouldn't be able to build a store there because there's a lot of brown people. There's no fucking follow-through. The right is a joke. It's a total fucking joke.
I can't support Alex Jones because he sells boner pills and he's not woke on the JQ.
Yeah, Alex Jones. He's a secret Jew, so he's not valid.
Yeah, he's not getting sued from every angle by the left. Nah, he's a monster. I hate him.
I think the difference between here we go. Here's the difference. The really woke leftists. There are Jews, so they're good. The really woke right-wing people, I can't support anything. Nothing is ethical. I can't support anything. They have no principles.
I think the stream should be the name should be changed and it should be White Tequila. That's the new meme. I want people pushing White Tequila.
I do too. I absolutely want people pushing White Tequila. Well, all right, man. Thanks, Jonathan Summers. John Paul Janitor. We're doing some 90 IQ big brain posting. Hope you listened all the way. Anyway, see ya.
Adios.